What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to That Sounds Terrible. Today's episode, we talk about guitar pickups, and I'm just going to do a quick kind of overall what we're going to do. This is actually the second time I had to film this. So we're going to take the Heathen pickups, the Valkyrie. We're going to take the new prototype. We're going to take the Druagr, which I already have installed, and we're going to take the Huggin and Munnin, and we're going to compare only the neck pickup. Now with the prototype, I am going to change out the pole pieces here on the south coil. So I'm going to use the hex key that's already installed, and I'm going to use this old pickup, and I'm going to take the flathead screws and we're going to swap those out. This way we can get a wide variety of tonal differences between these pickups. So every pickup is wound the same. Now, Royce does use a CNC winder, so they have their own winding pattern. They're all roughly the same, which is about 7.8 to 8K on the DCR. Now, all of these have Alnico 5 magnets, except for the Huggin and Munnin. That one is a hybrid. It is an Alnico 8 and a ceramic. So that's the only one that is actually different. But all the rest of them have the same winding specs and the same magnet, which is an Alnico 5. So the only differences are going to be your pole pieces. As you can see on this one, it's a double hex key. So on this one, it is if I can get the reflection to show it, it is a hex key and a metal slug. The Druagr is a double metal slug, and the Huggin and Munnin is also a double hex key. So we got a couple of different things to go over. So I've got some B-roll footage from the first time I filmed this. I had some issues with the audio. It was unusable, and I just figured I would go ahead and re-record and re-swap out the pickups. We have the same set of strings from the B-roll footage. I had to replace that. So everything is going to be the same. I'm going to go ahead and pre-record everything, and then we'll just get right back into the comparisons. All right, you guys, we are back. I've got everything recorded. I'm not going to show the current recordings. So I'll provide these as WAV files that you can download, and you could reamp, listen to it on your own stuff, whatever you want to do. So basically what we've done, as you could saw in the B footage, I swapped out the pole pieces. We changed out the pickups. Now for the Huggin and Munnin set, I did use the Grimoire because it was already installed. I'm not going to take it out of that guitar. Some people are going to say that there's probably, tonal variances because it's a different guitar, whatever. It's not that big of a difference to negate. So anyways, it's irrelevant. So what we've got, we have the Druagr, as you can see. We have the Valkyrie, we have the Huggin and Munnin. And then we have the hex key, which are the flat, the little black ones. You guys can see those here. And then we have the regular flatheads, which are, trying to find one that I thought I had another pickup laying around, but it's a standard pickups you would see. It has the flatheads on it, like so. All right, so we got everything. You can see it. You know what's going on. So we're going to reamp this signal instead of using it with an IR. I think that'll give it the best difference. So we're going to use my Friedman Runt 50 on the clean channel. Everything on the clean channel is set to 11 o'clock. There's no bright switch or any of that turned on. It's just 11 o'clock on the bass and the treble. There's no EQ, as you can see on the screen, and there's no settings. None of that's on. So let's just kind of get into it and go ahead and get this going. Start it over too. All right, so here we go. All right, so that's the Druagr pickup. Now the Druagr pickup is this one here. As you can see, it has double slug. It's on an Alnico 5, and it comes in at 7.98 on my my ohms meter. Let's go with the Valkyrie next. So the Valkyrie is a double Allen key. This one here also has an Alnico 5, and it reads in at 7.88 on my my meter. Let's go with the Huggin and Munnin. Now the Huggin and Munnin it's also a double Allen, but it has a Alnico 8 magnet and 2 ceramic magnets. It's a hybrid. So that one is in this guitar. All right, so next up I have the prototype. So the prototype I did in 2 sets. I did it one with the hex key, then I did it again with the flathead screw. So this is going to be the hex key. All right, so now I think what we're going to do is I'm going to start at the top, and I'm just going to go through each one without talking in between it. This way you can get a direct back-to-back. And here we go. right, there you go. That is the current range of pickups from Heathen Pickups. The only one that I don't have is the Fenrir, and I don't think the Jotner has a matching neck pickup. I think it's only a bridge pickup, which is fine. So out of these, let's compare these pickups here. Just from listening to them, I personally prefer the prototype with the hex key. There's a nice balance to it. It's still kind of full on the low end, but it's got a nice chime to it on the top end. It's not overpowering. It reminds me of the Huggin and Munnin, but the Huggin and Munnin is very thin sounding. The reason it's probably thin, I think that has a lot to do with the ceramic magnets that are really tightening up that low end on the pickup. Again, all of these pickups have the same wind, so they're all in that 8K range. That's the goal for the neck pickups. They have their own scatter about them. The way I understand it, it's a kind of like a pre-programmed thing that Royce can do with the CNC machine. I could be wrong, but nevertheless, they all sound fantastic depending upon the type of tone you're going after. My other favorite out of all of these is actually the Druagr, and I've said this from the get-go, especially to Royce. I really think the Druagr is one of the best sounding neck pickups. It's got a wide dynamic range to it. It's got a nice sparkle, and who is calling my phone? Anyways, it has a nice sparkle to it, and there's just something about it. I mean, you can hear it. There's a real wide dynamic range. There's a lot of chime to it. There's a lot of sparkle to it. And I think that has to do with the double slugs. Like I said, there's two sets of slugs on it. It sounds really, really, really good. Alnico 5, I think it came in at 7.9 or 7.8. I don't remember. I didn't write it all down. I was trying to remember them all. I didn't even test the neck pickup. But the goal for all of these pickups is between 7.5 and 8. That's the kind of small, narrow window that they have. Most of them are within, I guess, 2 points, I guess you would say, like a 7.88 versus a 7.94. So that would be 1, something like that. But they all sound really good in their own right. I think for me personally, the new prototype with the hex key and the Druagr are the best two. The Valkyrie, it has it's a little darker. It's not as chimey. It's got a little top end, but might help if I unmute that. So you can kind of hear it. It's not as chimey in the top end as the Druagr. We'll play them both. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. Overall, I think like I said, they all have their place. It just really depends on what it is you're trying to get out of your pickup, what tone you're going for. Now, the flathead was interesting because it still had a little bit wider dynamic range than the hex key style. It almost had a similar tone as the Druagr. Very similar. And I think that has to do with the type of, or the size of the pole piece. When you look at the flathead screw that goes into the neck pickups, and compare it to the diameter of the metal slug, they're very similar in size. Now, the Allen keys are the same diameter, but because of the hole in the middle where the key would insert to unscrew it versus a slot, I think that's really what's affecting the tone, because the magnetic pull goes from the screw part to the head, and then it's almost like, think of like a donut, it's just that ring, that centerpiece is missing, so there's nothing. It kind of narrows the field down, and that's what I think a lot of people don't really consider when it comes to pickups. It's not so much the wind that I've come to learn, and Royce and I have talked about this on numerous occasions. We don't necessarily think it's the wind. We think it's more of a combination of all of it together, between the wind for your output, the type of magnet, what's the inductance on it. All of that's going to come into play. And it's really interesting to hear that, because this is, I'm not going to say it's scientific evidence, but this is definitely more scientific than you'll see on most pickup websites. None of them really kind of show this. Again, it's all personal taste and personal preference. This is just kind of my findings on my take on this. It's all personal opinion, so take it for what it's worth. But anyways, I think that's enough jabbering about pickups for now. Anyways, we're going to do some more testing and things like that, finish helping Royce out with all this. And just tell me in the comments below which one of these that you preferred. What do you look for in a neck pickup? Personally, I don't really have a huge preference. My favorite, I guess you would say, big box pickup would be like the 59 from Seymour Duncan. I really enjoy the way that pickup sounds. It sounds really good to me. So anyways, tell me in the comments below. We'll see you in the next one.